Hello everyone, I'm Jolly Patel, Assistant Professor in Rai School of Sciences, Rai University. Today we will discuss about a staining method for the bacteria. So why we are learning this topic and what are the importance? So first, as we know the bacteria are a very small in size and secondly the bacteria are colorless. So for visualization of a bacteria, we require two things. First, use of a microscope and second, a proper color contrast. So we can use the microscope for visualization of a bacteria. But what about a color contrast? Because bacteria are a colorless nature. So how we can overcome this problem? So the solution of this problem is a staining method. Through the staining method, you can visualize your bacteria through color contrast. So let's start it. Our first question is what is the meaning of a stain? So stain is basically a color compound or we can say a dye which we can use for staining. Second, what is the meaning of a staining? So staining is a procedure through which you are giving a color to the bacteria artificially. So it's a one kind of a method or procedure. Next is what is the meaning of a simple staining? So staining in which you are using only single color. So there are so many different kind of a staining method in which you can use the more than two color. But if you are using only a one color or single color in your staining method, it's called as a simple staining. So stain is basically a color compound. Staining is a procedure for coloration and simple staining in which you are using only single color. Okay. Our next point is a type of a stain. So in a market, there is a two type of stains are available. First is a basic stain and second is a acidic stain. So what are the difference between a acidic stain and a basic stain? So basic stain is a stain which carry a positive charge and acidic stain carry a negative charge. So basic stain contain a positive charge and acidic contain negative charge. Okay. You can use any stain for your staining purpose. You can use a basic stain also. You can use a acidic stain also. Now let's start with a simple staining. So before going to start a simple staining, let's discuss a basic concept of a chemistry. In a chemistry, we always say that opposite charge means positive negative charge will attract to each other, and same charge means positive positive or negative negative will repel to each other, right? So in this, we also apply this concept opposite charge and same charge concept. First is a bacteria. So bacteria contain a particular charge on their surface and the charge is a negative. So bacteria carry always negative charge. But we have a two option of a stain. First is a positive charge stain and second is a negative charge stain. We can use any stain. So in a positive staining, bacteria carry a negative charge but we will use a basic stain. And as we know the basic stain contain positive charge. Your bacteria contain negative charge, but if you are using a acidic stain which carry a negative charge, it's called a negative stain. So simple staining, there is a two type of a simple staining. First is a positive staining, second is a negative staining. In a positive staining, you will use a basic stain. In a negative staining, you will use a acidic stain. So what will happen? So in a case of a positive staining, as we know the bacteria carry negative charge, you are using a basic stain, means positive charge stain. What will happen? Two opposite charge, negative and positive. So two opposite charge will attract to each other. So in this case, whenever you are applying a stain on a surface of a bacteria will directly absorb those stain in their body because the charge is opposite. So they attract to each other. So bacteria will get those stain. So that is why bacteria will be colorful and your background will be colorless because all the stain are absorbed in a bacterial body. That is why bacteria colorful and background colorless. So in a positive staining, this is a result. In a case of a negative staining, As we know, the bacteria carry negative charge, but you are using a acidic stain, means a negative charge stain. So what will happen? Bacteria carry negative charge. You are also giving a negative charge stain. So same charge will repel to each other. So what will happen? Bacteria will not absorb those stain. If bacteria will not absorb those stain, the stain will remain in a background. So bacteria will be colorless and background will be colorful. So in a negative staining, you are using a negative charge stain. That is why bacteria will be colorless and background will be colorful. So as we already discussed, simple staining is two types staining. First is a positive staining. Second is a negative staining. In a positive staining, bacteria will be colorful and background will be colorless. In a negative staining, bacteria will be colorless and background will be colorful. Okay. So under a microscope, in a case of a positive staining, you will get a colorful bacteria. This lines is a bacteria. So you will get a colorful bacteria and the background will be colorless in a case of a what? Positive stain. But in case of a negative stain, due to a same charge, bacteria will not absorb those stain. So background will be colorful and bacteria will be colorless. So this white spot dot is a bacteria. So bacteria are colorless, means transparent, but your background is a colorful purple color. But still you can observe your bacteria because the background is a dark and your bacteria is a bright. So due to color contrast, you can still observe your bacteria. So through positive staining and negative staining, you can observe your bacteria under a microscope better. So this is all about a staining method for bacteria. Thank you so much.